Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Golf Cart Garage. I am Tim. It is Tuesday. Let me know about my audio if you don't mind before I get started and say a bunch of stuff that might be like really important. Let me check Facebook over here. We're good. Yep, everything looks good. Looks like my audio is working. My meter's going. Audio great, Joe. Thank you. Thank you. Audio is good. Good. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Helpless Garage. Hey, it's mostly cloudy in Arkansas. I got some thunder rolling in right now. So I don't know what's going to happen. Y'all may hear it in a minute. It's just right before I went live, I heard the thunder and I said, oh man, no telling what's going to happen with the show if I go live during this. Gene Henson, praying for the flood people of Texas. Oh, that has been crazy. It's been all over the news. I've been watching videos. That is some of the craziest stuff I have ever seen. It is very, very sad about the flooding going on in Texas. It's devastating. Good afternoon. Prayers for everyone in Texas. Over 100 people missing. That's what I was saying. That water is going to go down fast, and that death toll is going to just go skyrocket. I think when that water starts going down, they're going to find all kinds of people. That is absolutely crazy what happened to them. Kurt, what's going on, Kurt? In Bradenton, Florida. I think I got it right. Bradenton. I think I got that down now because I was saying it wrong for a long time. Keith Popel, hey Tim, Keith and Chris from Nashville checking in hot, 92 and sunny. Yeah, it's been hot here in Arkansas. We had, I was going to tell y'all about another drowning we had here in Arkansas, but then the Texas floods happened. So the stuff that that we got going on here is nothing compared to that. But yeah, it was I think last week I told you about someone that drowned, and they never found him, by the way. Never found that guy. And then just past 4th of July weekend, someone else drowned on the lake. And I don't think they found that person either. I don't know what's up with that, with the not being able to find people when they know exactly where they went down. It's something going on there. The water level is kind of high. That may be causing some of it. Bob Lewis, good afternoon. I'll stay cool out there. Yes, it is very hot. Mike, where am I at? I lost it. Irvin, 86 and partly cloudy in southwestern Indiana. Frank Hoffman, what's going on, Frank? South Carolina, 95, feels like 106. Yeah, we're getting up there. We're getting warm. Howdy from Bristol, Greg Elliott. Rob Sider, what's going on, Rob? Thank you for joining us, sir. Ricky Smith, hey Tim and all the gearheads. What you say, Ricky? Joe Foster, audio's great, thank you. Audio good, helpless sounds great. Ricky Smith, audio great, loud and clear. Kurt. Haven Speckman, what's going on, Haven Speckman? Hello from Hastings, Minnesota, warm up here. Yeah, I think it's warm everywhere, just about. Larry England, Gary England. There they are. The England brothers. Hello from Indy, 84 and comfortable finally. The thunder should be rolling in here soon. Thanks for the weather report. Yeah, it is rolling here right now. I looked at the radar right before I went on, and it must be some pop-up stuff, like maybe popping up right on top of me, because I'm not seeing anything moving in until later this afternoon. But right now, it's I got thunder. Pretty significant thunder too. William Flowers, hello from South Alabama, and praying for Texas also. Yes, definitely. Facebook over here. Mike Green from sunny Grand Prairie, Albert. Grand Prairie, Albert. Where is that, Mike? Mike Green, where is that? Grand Prairie, Albert. But thank you for joining us, Mike Green, over on Facebook. Or is it Greenie? I guess it might be Greenie. Oh, hey Aaron, what's up, Tim? I'm almost done with my father-in-law's Silver Wolf kit install. It's on and acting kind of right, just won't read the throttle. All right, cool. Let us know, man, because I really would like some feedback on that Silver Wolf kit. Tommy Bedford, good morning from Tupelo, Mississippi, 89 with a heat index of 99. Man, it's humid here. Prayers for all in Texas. Yeah, that is wild. That is wild. The videos are scary. you know, of that water. It rose over 20 feet in like 45 minutes. I can't imagine. That is wild. Facebook, Alberta, Canada. Okay, I got you, Mike. Alberta, Canada in the house over here on Facebook. Ricky Hall, Prentice, Mississippi. Prentice, Mississippi. Is that did I ask you this before? Is Ricky Hall, did I ever ask you about a seminary? Where is Seminary, Mississippi? That's where a friend of mine used to live there. I've been there. I went to his wedding there in Seminary. Let's see. Easy mic to you. Hi, folks. What's going on? Bruce. Hello from Westfield, Wisconsin. Hey, Bruce. Glad you joined us, man. You did tell me you got your swag, didn't you, Bruce? George Bremer. Hey, Tim from Hilton, New York. 6th Street Garage. Howdy, y'all. What's going on, 6th Street Garage? Welcome to the room, sir. We talk about golf carts here, which I'm sure you know. And I appreciate you showing up here. Even if you can't stay for the whole thing, I'm glad you showed up. Rob Sider, what's up with the crown number in the chat? You know, I saw that, Rob. That, you know, every now and then, you know, the software that we use is called, that I use in order to go live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time, that Ayman helps me with. I've talked about Ayman all the time. Every now and then it gets an update and we have to update it. And this is the first time that I have seen that crown with the number on it in the chat. And I even have a new button up here that says top fans, and it's got that crown on it. So I'm not really sure. That's brand new to me too, but I will figure it out. 79 in South Carolina, Indiana, Larry Consley. Yes, I did, and wearing it proudly. Bruce. Okay, thank you, Bruce. I thought you told me you did. I might repeat myself on that sometimes. I just want to make sure everybody got it so they know that it's for real. Everybody that did. In fact, pictures I'm going to feature today. I have some pictures queued up. It's one of the winners, one of the past winners. It's Galactic Technologies, Daniel. And he's on vacation and he's got his swag. So Daniel, if you're in the room, let me know. First of all, I want to make sure that's you, Daniel, because the email address you sent me from is different than any email I got. So I need to make sure that it is you, right? I don't want to say it's you and it's not, but. Kevin Salyer, good afternoon. 82 and sunny here in Indiana. What's going on, Kevin? Alberta, Canada. This is Tuesday the 8th. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. Tommy Bedford says Seminary, Mississippi is in South Mississippi, close to Hattiesburg. Yep, that is correct, Tommy. I lost touch with him. I actually wanted to, I tried to find him on Facebook, but I haven't talked to him in many, many years. But okay, let me run some social media links. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. Give us a like and a thumbs up. Give comment, like, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. When you subscribe, you'll get a notification. You can click the notification. You'll get a notification as soon as I hit the clock to start every Tuesdays. That way you don't have to remember that we go live on Tuesdays at noon. Taco Tuesday with Tim at noon. That might be a way you can remember it. David Walter put a new Curtis control box on my 2002 Club Car DS Electric. It didn't work at all. The cart was dead. It didn't do anything except backup buzzer beeped. The cart is slow. 2002, if you're talking like really slow, I would probably have said something like could be a speed sensor, the device on the end of the motor. A lot of times a lot of times a speed sensor, you can get on the cart, especially on Club Card DS. I've seen this many times. Get on the cart and take off, and it takes off just like it's supposed to, really, really good, and then all of a sudden, boom, instantaneously to drop down to about 2 miles an hour and just start crawling, and your foot's still on the floor. That, a lot of times, that is the speed sensor. In fact, most of the time, that's the speed sensor. Tommy Bedford, give us his name, and we will bash him for not joining your YouTube channel. I don't know if I should give his name or not, because I don't have permission to give his name. I don't know if he would want that, because like I said, I hadn't talked to him in years, so I better not do that. I'd love to. I would like to. I'd like to do that, because I'm sure you guys could help me find him. Troy, I'm not even going to try the last name. Schick. Troy Schick. Indianapolis, Indiana. What's going on, Troy? We've got several people in Indiana in here, Troy. You are not the only one. We have regulars from Indiana all the time. Every week. Golf Cart Garage is in the chat. What's going on? It must be Dave. 75 is sunny in Cleveland, but it's shadier since it's a pretty large tree has fallen on the garage roof. All right. Well, so Dave's dealing with his own problems there. Zolfo Springs, Florida. Hot here in Zolfo Springs. Harry Fight. Yeah, it's getting warm everywhere. Let's see, social media, I did that. All right, well, let's get started with the regular questions, so I don't want to spend too much time on talking about the weather. Question number 1, regular question. This is from Randy. 93 Club Car, 36 volt, and it quit working. I've been working on this for a year because nobody around here does electric cars. I had gotten it to go in forward, but not reverse. We replaced the forward and reverse switch. Electrical guy that I know troubleshooted it, and we found out it was a bad solenoid, and it had blown out a micro switch in the V-Glide, so we replaced that, and I still have forward but no reverse. Is it possible that it is now the controller, or is there a reset for the controller? Also, brand new battery 6 weeks ago. Well, no, Randy, you just need to make sure you need a wiring diagram. So 93 Club Car, your controller on a 93 Club Car has nothing to do with the reverse. So if it's going in forward, it's working. Your controller is working. All right. Your forward and reverse switch has something to do with reverse, and your wiring has something to do with reverse on that car. Because you could have, depending on which one in 93, you could have a resistor car, or you could have a controller car. So it's different wiring for each. So this is what I want you to do, Randy, if you're watching this. Who is Randy, right? If you're watching this, I'm going to put my email up there. I want you to send me an email if you watch this video, because this video will be on the internet forever, you know, when we get through. And I'll see if I have a wiring diagram for a 93, an IPL, illustrated parts list. I think I do. So contact me at 00timfreeman@gmail.com, and I'll send you a wiring diagram, because you need to get that straight first, because that controller does not switch polarity to your motor. The forward and reverse switch switches polarity to your motor to go in reverse. So the controller puts out the same signal all the time. So if it's working in forward, it should be working in reverse, you know, barring you have something wrong in your wiring. David Walter says the speed sensor is new, M-core is new, etc. Still slow, start out slow and takes 5 seconds to start, then goes. Let off pedal, stops, and goes again. But on control box, it doesn't work. Speed sensor is new, M-core is new. Okay, still slow. Okay, what about the controller? there, David. Tell me about the controller. Is that it? Let's see. When I put a new Curtis control. Okay, you got a new Curtis. I'm reading up when you first started the comment. Okay, you got a new Curtis controller. Didn't work. Okay, you sure you got the right controller? That would be my first question, because I've got some sitting right here in the drawer for a 2002 Club Car GS. Unless are you talking about an IQ? Does this car have a run tow switch? That's why there would be a couple of different controllers depending on if you have a run tow switch or not. You would need to get the right one. So I would need to know. I'd need to make sure on all those common things. I'm sure you already have, but I never know when I'm talking to somebody, so I have to ask questions just to make sure that I cover all my bases. David Walter. Anybody that can read David Walter's question, welcome for ideas on that one, guys. If anybody has any ideas on that one. But I would want to know about the controller first. Tommy Bifford, I think the motor in my cart, it has blown. Put a new moto in it about 2.5 years ago. How long is the normal warranty on electric motors? Well, it depends on where you got it from, Tommy. Some people do offer a warranty, but I can tell you this. It would be unlikely that your motor is blown. It would be unlikely that that is the case, but it could be. They generally either work or they don't. There's not really an in-between. So I wouldn't, jumping on the motor would probably be the last thing that I would do. That'd probably be the last thing that I would look at. If your motor will pass the motor isolation test, you know, we've talked about that before, where you disconnect all the wires off the motor, and depending on if it's a series cart or if it's a shunt wound motor, you know, the two different motor isolation tests. If that'll run on 12 volts, it's generally good. Yes, it's a manufactured box. It has a run tow switch. It's Curtis 1510 5201. Okay, let me make sure that's right, because that's what I got right here. 1510 5250 on this one. This is a good IQ, never used since a rebuild. Yeah, it's this one. This one's been rebuilt by F Flight Systems, but yeah. Well, since it is the 15, David, you know, when you get frustrated working on some of these cars, especially IQs, there's always a last resort. You know, your car is storing fault codes. You know, every time it doesn't go in that particular car, it's storing fault codes. It may be time, since I know now that it is an IQ, there is a time when you can get the fault codes read, and sometimes it's necessary. It can lead you in the right direction. When you've exhausted everything, you know, like you've changed this and changed that. You mute this. Bart Gilman, good morning, Tim. Sunny and 74 in Northern California. No questions this week. Well, thank you for just coming and joining the chat, Bart. Even if you don't have a question, I appreciate it. Okay. I'm going to cut that off because it's glaring me in the face there. In fact, I think maybe my next question may be like the same situation that you're in, David. Let's see here. 2007 Club Car precedent that goes in reverse but not in forward. Any advice what to look for? Well, like this has to do with a previous question. On a precedent, the controller is what electrically makes the motor go in the opposite direction. All right, so I know it's not your M-core. I know it's not your key switch. I know it's not a lot of things if your car is going in one direction but not the other. So could definitely be your controller, and it might be good to use to get your codes read to see why it's not going in reverse. That may be, you know, if you've exhausted everything there, because it's not going to be a wiring issue. It's going to be something is messed up. It could be your motor itself, but most likely it's going to be something in the controller, because the controller is responsible for making that particular electrical system go backwards. Do I have to use the pigtail with controller even though the original one doesn't have it? I bought a code reader. It powers up but doesn't do anything else. Do I have to use the pigtail with the controller even though the original one doesn't have it? I bought a code reader. Powers up but doesn't do anything else. Well, I would... You don't have to use, you're talking about the pigtail where the normal place to plug in the reader, well, that just goes to the controller and then that pigtail just plugs in. So if you have a reader that just plugs straight in the controller, I wouldn't think you would need to use the pigtail. But if I'm understanding that question correctly. Switch to reverse. I was going full speed, Tommy Bedford said in this, and I started making a knocking noise. All of a sudden it stopped, as if it switched to reverse. Now it will jump about an inch, and that is all. I mean, how fast is your cart, Tommy? Like, I mean, I've seen motors blow apart on the inside and cause it to just come to an abrupt halt, but that's because they were turning a very inappropriate amount of RPMs. Well, that may be inappropriate. You might pull it. You might pull that motor and just examine it and see what it looks like. Should be a type 0 for club car, DS, and President. Check the throttle setting and the controller. You talking about on his Precedent there? Should be a type 0 for club car, DS, and Precedent. You're talking about DS is with M core and Precedent. Howie Peach, hey Tim from Ontario, Canada. What's up, Howie Peach? We got 2 Canadians in the house now. Mike Greeny and Howie Peach. Thank you guys for showing up. Another thought on the cart only going in one direction. I had a forward and reverse switch go bad. Easy to test and easy to replace. You're talking about a push button forward and reverse switch? Because I had a customer just the other day that had that also. Everything, he did a lithium swap on his car and his car wouldn't run and we couldn't figure it out. Well, it turns out his push button forward and reverse switch had a wire on the back of it that had lost connection. Controller on Amazon. Throttle setting was for an ITS, not M-Core. Yes, that is correct, Harry. You got to make sure that your controller's throttle input matches whatever throttle input you're using. And a lot of, and they make some series wound controllers, you know, that are programmable. And you're supposed to, the seller is supposed to ask you what car you have, and they're supposed to ship it to you with the right throttle input, but that's not always the case. I had no reverse and motor acted like it was fighting with itself to go forward. Okay, and it's because you had the wrong throttle input in your controller. Pigtail is for the control box wiring. Code reader I had to buy adapter for my cart to work. The reader just powers up. That it won't read. I'm having a little trouble there, David, figuring out what your question is. Work the reader. Reader just powers up. That's it. Won't read. Okay. Jerry Kelly, I see you there. Thank you for joining us, Jerry Kelly. Number 3. This is from Tom. I have a 2001 Club Car DS. I recently converted it to Lithium. Since then, the ride has become very harsh because of the weight loss. I see that the rear leaf springs have a secondary leaf under the main spring. I am considering removing the secondary leaf to soften the ride. What are your feelings on this? Well, we talk about that almost every week here. What was it, Tom? I forgot. Yeah, Tom. Yeah, we talk about that almost on a weekly basis here because that's a big issue. So my advice would be to do it because you're never gonna. There's nothing you can do except for doing that at this point. And in fact, we have some people in the room that have had to do even more. Not only did they have to remove any extra leaf springs that they had, but you've actually lost so much weight in your car that we've had people in the room that have literally taken metal out of the single leaf spring. In other words, cut a bit of metal out to weaken the spring a little bit more. So just taking that one leaf out is probably not even going to be enough. So if you can remove that one leaf, go ahead and do that and see where you're at. Let me check over here. Yep, we're good. We're still rolling good. Pedal box switch connects the orange wire to pin 6 on the controller. Does that wire need 48 volt to make the pedal function? I see the red wire going to the... Looking at a wiring schematic, I see the red wire going to the pedal box switch. Hey, Aaron, send to my email that schematic you're looking at, because I don't know that one off the top of my head for sure. But it very well might. That may need 48 volts to make the pedal function. But I need to be clear on what you're looking at there. Big Mike, what's going on, sir? Thank you for joining us. Oh, FYI, Tim, it's pouring here in Cabot. Okay. Well, it's not raining here, but I still hear the thunder, so it started raining on you, huh? Winds are up over 25. Well, I wonder if it's coming this way. I don't know. I'll have to look at the radar here in a little bit and see if it's coming toward me or not. I'm still hearing slight thunder, but nothing major. Number 4. This is from Thomas. I picked up an '89 G2 cart from an elderly lady in town. She was the original owner and used it for the local golf course. I have bought a Jake 6-inch lift and 22 10x10 tire package. After driving the cart around the block, it's street legal. It does about 26 miles an hour. Prior to installing of the lift and tires, I looked through the paperwork and it appears that she ordered the cart with high-speed gears. Anyway, I'm concerned this gear set will be a little weak with the larger tires. We plan on using the cart for camping in the desert and driving to the lake from the campground. Some of the area may have a mild hill or two. I was also interested in towing a 12 foot, I think you meant foot there, aluminum boat and trailer, approximately 150 pounds. I'm not interested in spending thousands of them on big blocks and would like to maintain some top end. Therefore, I'm thinking of installing an original set of gears, 12 to 1s, or the power package clutch kit. Do any of you think the power clutch kit will provide the torque I'm looking for, or will I need to re-gear the transmission? Well, Thomas, those are very good questions. Now, what I would say is, like I've always said before, you need to get your torque right first. All right, so your car is built for something other than what you need it for. The opposite. Your car is like designed for something opposite of what you need it for. Like you're going to put a lift kit on there, that was already going to do a higher gear ratio when you went with the taller tires, even if she had the stock gears in there. So yeah, my advice would be to put the stock gears back in there, because that's going to help you a lot on your torque. Don't worry about speed so much now. Get your torque right so you can pull your boat, you can do all that stuff, and then worry about speed later. But you're going to have to have a lot of torque in order to pull higher speed gears, especially if you're going with taller tires. So I would put I'd put the gear ratio back where it was supposed to be first, and then go from there. But that's just how I like to roll. I like to get my torque right and then adjust speed later, because you can always pull higher speed gears if you got enough torque. Hey Aaron, I sent the schematic to your email. Okay, cool. I don't think I'm doing high speed gears in my cart now that I got a trailer from a golf cart. Okay, over on Facebook we got Pete Segarrett. Wonder if I'm saying that right. Pete Segarrett on Facebook. What's going on, Pete? Thank you for joining us. I have a 2015 electric E-Z-GO TXT. I'm putting a 72 volt lithium battery in it and an Alltrack 650 amp 5.5 kilowatt conversion kit. My axle has a lot of play in it. My rear axle has a lot of play in it. I want to get a new one. Part number on the rear end is 735G01. That number comes up as a different style rear axle. Do you know if that is the upgraded version of the rear? You know if that is the upgraded version of the rear end. 2015 E-Z-GO. I don't know that off the top of my head, but since you do have the part number, that should be easy enough to find out. But you're just going to have to call somebody who has you're going to have to call an E-Z-GO dealer and have them look up that part number, because what'll happen is when they look up that part number, it will say if that is the upgraded part number for what you're asking. If you can get one to talk to you on the phone, I mean, they should be able to look that up really easy and be able to figure that out, especially on a cart as new as a 2015. That's not too old in the golf cart world. That should be easy to figure out. My rear axle has a lot of play in it. I'd be interested to know what you mean by that. It has a lot of slack in it. Where does it have slack? Mike, switching my G29 to lithium seems straightforward. It is, Mike. Just remember, if your charging receptacle is got 3 wires, if it not only has a main positive and a main negative, it's got a third wire. That third wire's got to be hooked up wherever it was coming from the controller. That's got to be hooked up to main positive, if that's the case. I don't remember off the top of my head if a G29 has 2 wire receptacle or if there's a third wire or not. That's really the only thing that causes people, well, that's the main thing that causes people the problem when they switch to lithium, is that they didn't realize that if they had a 3-wire receptacle, that third small wire has to go to the lithium positive. Now, I don't mean the wire coming from the receptacle itself. I mean the other end of the wire, coming from the controller. That's got to go to the main positive on the lithium. Okay. Have you ever had high-speed wobble problems in a golf cart? I did a 6-inch lift on the GS and it feels like my tires are just grabbing the road and yanking my cart toward whatever way the cracks are going. I have, and I had to do some adjustment because you don't run into that at normal golf cart speeds or stock golf cart steering geometry. But when you put lift kits and taller tires and all that on it, you completely change to everything. So there's not a set of rules that would stop that, that you could just definitively say would solve your issue. So the first thing you do is make sure there's no slack, in anything. Make sure you don't have spindle slack. Make sure you don't have steering slack. Make sure all the slack is gone. Don't worry about alignment, right off the bat. Worry about slack. Make sure your car turns to the left, turns to the right. Then do your front end alignment, your toe in. Start with the toe in and toe out. You could start, proper toe in is 1/8 inch, but proper toe in is 1/8 inch on stock tires and stock rims and stock steering geometry is 1/8 inch. When you start changing all that with different lift kits, 1/8 inch might not be the way to go anymore. It's not going to be way far different, but it might not be exactly 1/8 inch. So I would start with 0. I'd do 0 toe in, 0 toe out if you change things up with a lift kit and taller tires. Try that. Drive the cart. Turn it all the way to the left, see about your circle to the left, turn it all the way to the right, see about how, what's your radius of your circle or circumference, whatever it's called, to, the sharpness of the turn. Make sure they're relatively equal. Then center your steering wheel, remove your steering wheel. That's the last thing you do on a front end alignment on the golf carts. Take your steering wheel off and then center it, as you're driving. Then tighten it down. Then go from there. If 0 toe in and 0 toe out doesn't give you any problem, then do a slight toe in, just a slight toe in. When you got your tie rods undone at 0, let's just say your tie rods aren't locked. They're not locked. You can grab them with your hands and you can spin them, like that, because you don't have the lock nuts down, tightened down. Go to 0, and if drive the cart. And you can lock them down and drive the cart at 0. See if you like it or not. See if that helped. If not, grab your tie rods, turn them a little bit, and watch your front tires come in just a little bit. Then go drive the cart again and see if that changed anything, or see how much that changed. The new tie runs in. I barely touch my wheel, and it is fast to steer. Yeah, check for slack, because a lot of times slack can cause that too. Mike, I'm going to try and stuff 2 51 lithiums in a G29. Cool. Do it. It can be done. That would be a lot of, what amp hour lithiums, Mike? You stuffing 2 in parallel? So what amp hour are each of them? Galactic, hey, what's going on, Daniel? Daniel, that is you that sent me the pictures from the Philippines, right? Because it was from an email address that I had never gotten anything from you before. I'd gotten some other stuff from you in an email, so I wasn't sure. I just want to make sure that was you, because I didn't know. Okay, cool. Well, I've got a picture queued up for today of the stuff you sent me. That's what I was going to show today. So thank you for sending me those. I have golf cart tow bars to use 2 measuring tapes. Yeah, what I did, I'll tell you one thing I did, Aaron. I actually cut a dowel rod, and then I put a little piece on the end where it could extend a little bit, like I zip tied another piece of a dowel rod to it so I could spread it out just a little bit with measurements on it. So I'd put that on the rear and put it all the way to the rear, and then I'd take the dowel rod out and then move it to the front of the tires and put it in there, and I could tell if the front was a little wider than the rear. I found a tape measure to be more awkward than a dowel rod, than a stiff dowel rod. Mike, 100 amp hours a piece. So in other words, you put two of them in there in parallel, you're going to have a 200 amp hour battery pack. Now that should have some range. You know, you should be able to drive to the next town or something with that with no problem. Steve Fur Missile. What's going on, Steve Fur Missile on Facebook? General question. Just got new batteries in my 2006 rebuilt club car. Cart throttle works normally for approximately 20 to 30 seconds. Then the throttle stops working. The cart will slow down, and after 5 seconds, the throttle will work again. Repeats the same cycle. Thank you. All right, Steve, anytime somebody tells me something like that, my first question is going to be, I understand that you have new batteries, but you have to understand what you're describing could be a bad battery. So I would want to know what the battery voltage is when it fails. In other words, I got to eliminate that first. So you got new batteries in there, 2006 rebuilt club car electric, so that means, I'm assuming that we're talking about a 48 volt car. Everything is working for 20 to 30 seconds, then the throttle stops working, the cart will slow down, and after 5 seconds the throttle will work again, and then repeats the same cycle. I can tell you this, one bad cell in one battery could cause your symptoms. So I would want to eliminate that first. And the way that we would do that, we've talked about this a bunch of times on this channel, a voltmeter sitting in the seat with you, hooked to your battery pack, like you alligator clip leads on the ends of your voltmeter. Hook it to the full battery pack. You should, if it's a 48 volt car, you should be reading, just sitting there, you should be reading like 51 volts. All right? Drive the car, watch your voltmeter. When it fails in 20 or 30 seconds, watch that voltmeter. And if those volts dropped at the time of the failure, then you know it's a battery issue. If they don't drop, we can move on to something else. Kind of sucks trying to hold two tapes, especially when my wife doesn't know how to read a tape. That's what I'm saying. I found the tape measure thing for aligning a front end more trouble. That's why I came up with the dowel rod deal with just a slight extension on the end. You know, something you can slide out, and that worked a lot better for me. Steve Furmissel, thank you. Thank you for joining us, Steve. We do this every Tuesday, man. If you please come back, you know, next Tuesday. If you got another question, I mean, I hope I was able to help you. But that's anytime I have that kind of situation, I need to eliminate the batteries as being the problem first. And I understand that they're supposed to be new, but having a bad cell in a new battery is not completely out of the question. It is not out of the question. I mean, I talk to people all the time where that has happened. Where was I at there? Number 5 is where I was at there, but we may cut these questions short today so I can make sure I get to the picks and everything else I need to get to. Number 5 is from Benny. I lifted my 2006 48 volt Club Car IQ DS yesterday. All sports, super sport lift. Now I have a lot of free play in the brake pedal before the brakes actually work. I didn't change anything that I know of with the brakes, so is there something I need to tighten or adjust? Well, if putting a lift kit on caused you to have more play in your brake, then that would lead me to believe that that lift kit required you to move your brake cables where they were mounted before. That would be the only thing that would have affected that I can think of. Just the lift kit should not have affected the amount of free play in your brake cables unless you actually moved the mounting point of your brake cables. Now that could have affected it. So I would need to ask some more questions about that. All sports lifts are pretty good generally, so they're designed really well, and I can't see that being part of it, but I would have questions about that. Hey Ron, 40p. Oh, thank you, sir. with all this good information. Mike, smash the like button. What's going on? Thank you there, Mike. Number 6. This is from Bradley. I just installed my 48 volt club car with a 6-inch heavy duty leaf spring, all American 10-inch wheels. Cars to be used at hunting club. Soft, hard packed dirt. It feels loose and a little squirrely. Is there anything you would recommend to make it handle better? Lifts never had a problem. 4-inch lifts never had a problem. Okay, so you're just having a problem since you went with a 6-inch lift. Well, this is the way I look at that mechanically or geometry wise. If your car in stock form, if it has the slightest bit of a problem that maybe you don't even recognize, the higher you lift it, the more exaggerated that problem is going to become. That's the way I see it. That's the way, just the way math works. Because if you're slightly out of an angle on sitting down on stock height, and you lift it, it's very likely that you may be even more out of an angle. And then you lift it more, and it may even be even more. So you have to make sure that everything is correct. That's why I like to make sure that everything is working great on a cart before you do stuff like doing a lift kit. Unless you realize all this, and you're willing to take on that project, and you're willing to straighten things out, you're willing to replace some bushings, you're willing to get the slack out, and all that kind of stuff that we talk about all the time. Because small issues tend to get exaggerated when you start lifting a cart, is basically what I'm trying to say there. But number 6, is that where we were at? Yeah, number 6. I would check, just the normal stuff. Check toe in. You can start with 1/8 inch toe in, but I would probably, since you've got such a big lift on there, start with 0 toe in. Make sure that they're zeroed in the front, zeroed in the rear, and then go from there. And then you may have to toe in just a little bit to correct any issues. But the main thing is slack. You don't need any slack anywhere. Number 7. This is from James. Charger has been checked. I charged batteries individually with 6-volt charger. After charging batteries, they read between 5.5 to 7. The charger will not start charging. 48-volt club car. All right. Well, believe it or not, this is actually a common question I get a lot. That's a lot of people try to charge. What the deal is that you have 6 8-volt batteries, and you're trying to charge each one of them with a 6-volt charger. Well, you're never going to get anywhere with that. It's amazing how many times I get this question a week, or this scenario. They think that people think that they can charge a 8-volt battery with a 6-volt charger. You can't do that. It's not going to work. You could charge an 8-volt battery with a 12-volt charger, and then maybe accomplish your goal. Which your goal is you're just trying to get the battery pack voltage up high enough for your normal charger to come on. Well, you might not ever achieve that with a 6-volt charger. You need to switch that to a 12-volt charger on an 8-volt battery, and get about 30 minutes, set a timer, because this is not actually electrically recommended. This is just a way to get away with it in a pinch if you're trying to get your normal charger to cut back on. Set yourself a timer, 30 minutes on each one. 12-volt charger on an 8-volt battery, 30 minutes. Set yourself a timer. Switch to the next. Same thing. Then check your total voltage, and then try your main charger. Big Mike, what Tim's saying is that the bigger tires, the better. I know that you would like for me to say that, Big Mike, but that's not what I'm going to say. But I know that you would like for me to say that, because that's the situation you're in. But your car was good though. I mean, like I said, if everything is good when it's normal, then lift it and everything should still be good. But if you have a slight issue before the lift, your issue is going to be exaggerated after. Mike, Tim, did you go to the bragging rights kart race? I did not. I saw something about that. Tell me more about that, Mike, if you don't mind. Send me let me make sure that I know about that. Send me an email about that, Mike, if you don't mind. Send me a link or something so I can go check that out. Because I might want to get involved in it, that would be kind of fun. I haven't done that in a long time. And now that I have a lithium battery in my shop I can play with, I can really do pretty good. Because I know everybody's going to be on lithium nowadays if they're doing any type of racing. When I did it, I did my last run was on lead acid. I haven't even done a lithium run yet. Laser toy to align mine. I use my cat's laser toy. Okay, cool. Yeah, you could get real fancy like that with a laser toy. Especially if it had, let's see, how'd you do that? Does it show distance? I mean, I know they have some, you're talking about a construction laser that you just use for your cats that does show distance, right, Rob? Yeah, that would be cool. Tommy Bedford says you almost told one of your secrets. There are all. What I have found when I was doing it is that I have found that there are always secrets in drag racing when you get a bunch of men involved. There are always going to be secrets, not cheats, just things that you kind of hold to yourself. And it was amazing to me because I was not aware that it would be that way. And also, you will get accused of cheating. I found that out. You will get accused of cheating if you win. Someone is going to accuse you of cheating. Gonna take that down. All right, I tell you what, we're going to shut that down. There was a couple of more regular questions, but I want to make sure I get to everything that I need to get to today before we get time running out. We're getting close to that time. Title of this episode was Why Not Lithium? We'll talk about that just for a second. There is, as time goes on over the last 4 years or so, the answer to that question is that there are very, 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 very few reasons nowadays to not go lithium if you're looking for a battery job. If you're time to do a battery job on your golf cart. Lithium prices, the competition is out there. You've got real inexpensive lithiums out there. You've got real expensive lithiums out there. So there's lots of stuff to choose from. There is almost no reason anymore to not go lithium. You can get lithiums in lead acid price range. You can get them less than lead acid price range. You have to understand, I'm a big believer in you get what you pay for. But I myself even have a cheap lithium that I'm testing, just trying to see how bad it could really be. And so far, it's absolutely fine. But like I said, I'd love some long-term data on people that have done lithium conversions that are 3 years old or more. I've talked to some people that are right at the 2.5 and 3 year mark at this point, and everything is fine. But with the claims that they're making with the cycles and the years and the warranty and everything, 10-year warranty and all this, I'm anxious to see some 5-year-old lithiums. I want to see somebody that did a conversion on their cart in lithium and that is 5 years ago and everything is still fine, because I see that in lead acid all the time. I see that all the time in lead acid. 5-year-old lead acid and they're still doing fine. So I want to see that in lithium. So if anybody has that, let me know, because I'll definitely talk about it. And I'll even push the brand, because that's pretty good. Greg Elliott. Oh no. Oh, I hear Tim's solenoid clicking. Yep. Yeah, I start talking about that and my solenoids start clicking. You know what's funny about that is my race car has no solenoids. There's no click in my race car. It has no clicking. As often as I ask about that, the car I built has 0 solenoids. There is no clicking. You turn the key on and it's hot. Boom. No solenoid clicks. It's hot. You turn the key on. Tommy Weber. Yep, I found that out to not golf cart racing, but both dirt drag, and asphalt racing. Yeah, it's amazing. You can't have a bunch of men competing in anything and somebody wins without them getting accused of cheating. Facebook is still rolling. That's good. All right. We're going to do some let's see. How about that? Before we run out of time. Let's see some pics. All right. Today's pictures are from one of our regular viewers. They're from Daniel. He is the Galactic Technologies in the chat today. He is a past winner of a bag of swag, and he went on vacation and he went to the Philippines, and he sent me some pics with his golf cart garage swag, which I thought was cool. So here is golf cart garage swag around the world with Daniel. There's an Eco battery shirt. He's got his golf cart garage hat on that he ordered, that he won. And he's on the beach in the Philippines, and look at that spread. I thought my margarita bar was a nice spread that we had over 4th of July. Not margarita, Bloody Mary bar. I thought my Bloody Mary bar was nice, but look at that spread. That is cool. So thank you, Daniel, for sending me some pictures, and thank you for taking your swag halfway around the world. We'll leave that up there. David, Trollbox has 3 screws for the wires. Living the good life. Yeah, that's not bad. That is not bad at all. Yeah, we had a nice Bloody Mary bar this past weekend for 4th of July. We had a nice spread, but man, that is a nice spread there. On the beach, chilling. Okay. It was cooked on the spot. Yeah, that is awesome. I don't even know what half of that stuff is, but I would love to try it. Okay. Thank you again, Daniel, for sending me those. Big Mike, Tim, I need you to come to Indiana. I would love to, Mike. I would love to. I'd love to come to Indiana and go chill out with you and Kevin. I told my wife about that, since she works for that company out of, where you're at. And she said she'll look into it. She doesn't have to go very often. She's mainly remote, like I am, but she occasionally does have to go there. I would be glad to, Big Mike. It'd be awesome. Okay, I'll show the pics from Dan. Here's if you'd like to buy any hats from us, I was going to give away a hat today. I was. my wife got busy and she couldn't help me. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to change things a little bit. I'll go ahead and make an announcement, which I normally don't do. I don't make an announcement because I started just doing it at random. But I'm going to make an announcement now that next week we do another giveaway next Tuesday. So everybody come back next Tuesday, because next Tuesday will be hat day. It would have been today, but ran into some issues. But anyway, these hats, there's some descriptions there's some links in the description. Sorry, they take you right to them. Let's see. Tell me what that means, Rhea. Boodle fight. Tell me what that means a little more. I'm only an hour north of Indianapolis. Kevin Salyer said we would do one of our cart nights and have about 20 tricked out carts there for you to see. Cool, that would be awesome. D-Max, what's going on? Is that the name of that spread, Rhea? That boodle fight? Is that what that's called? Let's see here. Where's my, okay, I did that. Okay, contact us there. If you'd like to contact us at Golf Cart Garage, here's the main email address. It's the support@golfcartgarage.com. If you need that to come to me, you can say attention to them and they'll make sure I get it. Here's the regular phone number for Golf Cart Garage. And I showed my email address. If you'd like to get in touch, send something to me directly, there's my direct email address. That comes straight to me. Send me some pictures of your golf cart. Send me some pictures of your vacation, wearing some GCG swag, whatever you know. Whatever you know, I'll, anything interesting like that, I'll talk about it. We'll show it. We'll feature it. Hey, Ron, I sent you a few emails. Okay, cool. There's a coupon. Here's a coupon, active coupon for now. Go to golfcartgarage.com. If you'd like to order something and get 5% off any parts you order, you can use the coupon code GHOD5, GHOD5. That expires on July 31st, so that's got a little ways to go. You get 5% off any parts you order. GHOD5 at checkout at golfcartgarage.com. Okay, this is Rhea that's answering the question. The reason I'm asking her is because she's in the Philippines. It's a Filipino communal dining experience where food is served on banana leaves spread across a long table and people eat with their hands without utensils. Yes, it's what it's called. It's called a boodle fight. So Daniel had a boodle fight. Cool. Thank you, Rhea. Yeah. See, she knows. AEHR, that's Rhea. She actually works for Golf Cart Garage. So, shout out to Rhea. Oh, I think I hear rain. I think I'm getting it. Big Mike says we're close to Valparaiso. Then you have a 16-pin plug on the controller. If you need a pinout diagram for the controller plug, and you need to have the controller powered up for the programmer to work. Now I know. Now I know what a boodle fight is. Cool. All right, guys. That looks like it's going to be about it for me. put Dan's picture back up there one more time. And the boodle fight, that's what that is, that feast. Carts and culture. Yes, that is true. That is true. Yep, I would bet that Dan didn't even know that I had Philippine connections before he sent me those pictures. All right. Great show today, Tim. Thank you, Big Mike. All right, that looks. Oh, by the way, go to golfcartgarage.com because our Lester Chargers are back in stock. This is some other things I wrote down at the end. Also, I think the garage sale, there's some things about the garage sale that are still going on. So there might be, click on anything that you see about garage sale. Give our, give Eco, we sell Eco Lithium batteries at Golf Cart Garage. Give them a shot, if you want to check it out. If you're thinking of going lithium, now may be the time. You might want to check into Eco. I get good reviews on them. I talk to people all the time. I get good reviews on Eco. I know they're more expensive than some of the lesser ones, but I'm constantly testing the lesser ones too. So we may be increasing our line of lithium options in the future. I'm not sure, but right now we're doing some testing just to make sure that we don't disappoint anybody. Big Mike says next season he'll be making the switch. That's cool. All right, guys, I will see everybody next week. Again, thinking about all those people in Texas, all the floods, thinking about the drowning that I've had in my area. It's been crazy. Hopefully the worst of that kind of stuff is behind us. It's very, very unexpected. It can come up at any time, without anybody expecting it. It's just that happened very, very quickly in Texas. Very, very sad. So thank everybody for showing up. We'll do this again next week. I'm sure they'll have a whole nother set of questions. We'll have a whole nother set of topics, and we will see you then. The garage is now closed.